I then go for my gun that's appendix carry, the VP9. As I go to unholster my gun, he sees it and he starts to open fire on me. So when he goes to open fire on me, I just immediately return fire. My first round hit him somewhere center mass. I still to this day don't know exactly where.
What's up, everybody? It's that time again. It's time for Locked, Cocked, and Unfiltered. I'm here again with my co-host, Clayton Slot Liquor and Tony Simone. And then we've got our special guest, Mr. Mychael Waller, a.k.a. Black Superman.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you, guys, man. Super excited. You guys been talking to Clayton. He's trying to get me on the show, and you know, I definitely appreciate you guys inviting me on. It's about time.
We appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, we know.
I thought y'all two were racist at first, and y'all just didn't want no black people. And then y'all put Tony in here. You know, I was like, all right, well, cool. So you got the two black people on the top of the screens.
We've got to keep it diverse.
Yeah,
diverse. Yeah, you have to put me down at the bottom.
Tony was our DEI hire.
Put Chris at the top. Get some diversity. We got some diversity in here now, baby. We good. Let's do it.
We currently have applications out for our token Mexican and token Chinese as well, too.
Hey, we do have an Asian mummy.
That's dark, man. Your daughter's going to hate us for that.
I will.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
So we'll go ahead and, Michael, I guess we'll let you kind of give a little bit of a background on who you are and what you do and stuff.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. My name is Mychael Waller, as you guys know. Range owner out in Tennessee, Sneedville, Tennessee. Bought a range in 2020. FFL, first African American under the age of 25, state of Illinois. Be a firearms dealer. I was the youngest in the country at the time. In the process of transferring it down here to Tennessee, so that'll be something new. Also, self-defense shooting survivor in 2019 and 2023. We ain't gonna talk about the other one. And yeah, man. Official partner with USCCA, so I collab with them in 2019. So I'm actually an official partner with the United States Concealed Carry Association as well, and to go around the country and tell my story and speak on podcasts and try to, encourage gun owners to get into training and, push the importance of training onto the American people. And proud American, proud African American, all that good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, man.
And I was, glad you brought that up and mentioned that when you were talking about yourself, because that is one thing, we would like to talk about, because, we're all advocates for training. We've talked about training, and I think it's really good to have you on so people can get, kind of a better idea of why we push training so much. Because as you said, you were involved in two self-defense shootings. First one being in 2019. And if I'm not mistaken, you were actually coming back from the first train and learn with that one as well. So before train and learn, what got you into guns? Have you always been kind of into guns, or is that something that came on later in life for you?
Always been fascinated by firearms. I'm an athlete. Started off playing, anything with a ball, but mostly basketball. But man, shortly after high school, when I was going to college, I was going to try to walk on and play basketball there. And one of my good friends, which is my wife's cousin, he was in the National Guard, and he was telling me, said if I, don't play basketball, I'll just go and join the military. And ended up finding out I was having a son, and I was 19, so I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to leave and go to the military, and I got into gun, and I figured out the second best thing besides basketball was guns to me. So I've always been fascinated by them. I'm kind of a history nerd, so firearms have always been really fascinating to me. So I got into guns right after my son was born. I went to buy an AR-15. I started working for an AR-15 company called Civilian Force Arms, which happened to be the first African American AR-15 manufacturing company in America. Also known as CFA. So nice. We manufacture ARs and 1911s and AKs as well, but mostly ARs are what we were known for. So and started working with that company when I was 19, and not even, I think like my first year I was 19, 20 years old. Went to SHOT Show, and I just gunsmithing school, went to AGI, American Gunsmithing Institute, and at that time it was, I was just pretty much thrown into like the gun industry as a young African American man, and it was just, full blast. Like some people just, there's like small communities in like Atlanta or Texas or whatever the case is. I was thrown into like the middle of like the jungle, and I just grew from there.
Nice.
Yeah, when did you kind of start taking training and stuff?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that.
Oh, really from the beginning. The company I worked for was a veteran-owned business, and the owner, both of the owners ended up becoming like a really, really important mentors in my life, and they still currently are. One I really don't talk to at all, but Ernest, I do talk to him quite a bit still, and they became mentors, and one of the gentlemen were in the Army, and he pretty much just coached me up, since I was 19 years old. Broke me down just kind of like they do in the military. Like I was in the gun, the armory, crying, dude, doing push-ups because I was fucking up and not doing what I was supposed to be doing, or being a knucklehead outside of work. And he just kind of just pushed me, and we got into training. He was AVIC, obviously. He was a military, so we trained every single weekend. So since the beginning, I knew firearm training was essential. So pretty much since the beginning.
That was one question that I already had, was like, and kind of you just answered it just now, is your first self-defense shooting, how much training did you have prior to that? So I didn't realize it went back that far.
Mostly just some basic level classes, not anything big. It was mostly just local range stuff and things that we would do actually in-house. So
okay.
The owners will do like, rifle, like little basic, little fun, like, basic intro to rifle class, pistol, things like that. Very, very little. But my first, I would consider my first official class was Kevin Dixie's class, the train and learn industry. That was my first official, like, outside of that, gun company, that firearms company. That was my first official class. And it happened to be like a, training event too as well, outside of just guns. But, yeah.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right, there's a delay, so I apologize. So you said Civilian Force Arms was the first company you worked for as a black-owned company.
Mm-hmm.
Your first training you had was from Train and Learn. Kevin Dixie's black. Is that why you only shoot black people in self-defense?
Oh my God!
I really thought we had gotten away. I did not see that coming.
He just waited for that. We're 21 minutes and 5 seconds into this podcast, and he's already cut up. No, Tony, I just happen to be in black and brown environments. And technically the first person I shot wasn't black, he was Latino.
Okay. It's just a question.
Oh my God, Tony.
I honest to God did not see it going that way.
I'm sitting here thinking like, I'm like, he set this up. It's gonna be like legit question, and then bam, throws the grenade through the
Always a
fucking
beautiful
door.
thing.
Just fucking
Welcome to the show, Mike.
breaches the door and fucking.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony.
Oh God.
You're welcome. Love you, bro.
Oh God.
See, I'm only.
Hey,
I'm
I love you
just.
too, man. Damn.
I'm just glad Tony asked the question and not me or Chris, because that can be weird.
Oh jeez.
Oh my God, dude.
Well, the crazy thing is
I
this.
had a good comeback.
Oh, yeah,
First
of
person
course
I
you did.
shot was not black. He was Latino. He was brown.
Damn.
That got him warmed up.
Damn.
So it's. I was actually talking about it because well, there's a couple of things. One, I talked to the owner of Civilian Force Arms years ago. I was trying to actually get him to sponsor diversity shoots back in 2015, 2016.
Nice.
That didn't work out well. Your boy was like, no. So I'm like, okay, I'll work on that. So anyway, that was when I had my first actual conversation with him. It was back in the day, and
Who was that? If you don't mind me asking, because we had a few on.
Jonas,
Jonas. Okay.
Jonas, yeah,
Yeah.
I actually spoke to him directly,
That's
and he was like, well,
that kind of sound like him.
oh yeah, he was like, well, what do we get out of it? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm around 10 years later. How's he doing?
He's doing pretty good. He's not. Damn, Tony. But he ain't in the gun community anymore. But
Shit, Tony.
We got shots fired going all over the place.
Tony, I mean, just unfiltered, bro. He ain't in the gun community anymore, but
Hey, locked,
he's doing
cocked,
really
and
well. He's doing
unfiltered.
really well. He's doing really well.
Oh, I don't.
He's rich as shit. So like, he owns like 30 Dunkin' Donuts. He got like he has a lot. He has a lot. I mean, Smoothie Kings, Burger Kings.
They coming for you, Tony.
Jesus.
They heard you firing shots.
Yeah, he's doing real well.
Well, my thing is this: I never wished him any ill will. That was his choice. I mean, exactly. I mean, I've been told no by a whole bunch of companies. But my thing was that was the first time I figured we had some stuff in common, being a veteran, being black, working here, trying to grow a community. And hey, I totally understand where he came from. I held him no ill will. And truly, you couldn't even make me jealous of his success until you told me he owned that many food places. Now I'm freaking pissed, bro. Really? Dunkin' Donuts, Embers? I'm just saying.
But
Now I'm hating like-
he's loaded, bro. He had about 10 at the time when he started the company. Now he probably has more than that. He probably got like 50 or 60 dudes. Smoothie Kings, all
Good for him.
fucking bar and grills.
That's awesome.
Like vodka businesses, dude. I mean, he's loaded. He's a very frugal. He's African, so I think he probably still owns the first car he ever had. Like, he can probably go buy a brand new Bugatti right now, cash, but he won't do it. He's just a very, well disciplined person, and he developed that in the military. So he made mistakes, and if he was on the show, he'll probably admit to it. He'll be like, "Yeah, man, like, I probably should have done that," and I'm a testament of the same thing. I'm a black guy just like you, and then 10 years later, I'm only 30 years old, and I'm still in the gun industry. So, and that company went down in 2023, and I started my business the same year. So I didn't give up, and I'm, now, 7-8 years later, and I didn't, been on, humbly been on cover of multiple magazines, and unfortunately the shootings and, all types of stuff. Spokesperson of the United States Concealed Carry Association, a lot of different things. So, and I know you do. But I expect that from you. We all look up to all of you guys, everybody on here, Clayton and Chris, and especially you, Tony, because you've been in the industry for such a long time. So you're we consider OG. That's you've been doing the real, like, you've been doing the hard labor, like, fucking balls to the wall, like, work. You know what I mean? The real work. So you are respected. Yeah, you are respected in the gun industry. When I first got,
100%.
I was young. I think I was like 22 when I saw you, and immediately everybody who spoke of you, man, they were just, that dude right there is, you better don't fuck up with him. Don't burn no bridges. He's a real good guy. So
man, I still remember. I met you at I met you in Atlanta, right? At was that the Atlanta NRA? It was 2019.
No, that was Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. All right, cool. They run into each other. Yeah, my whole thing is to be respectful, even when somebody shuts me down. And truthfully, what he made me do when he said no was ask myself this: what am I bringing to the table? What am I offering these companies that they can't get from somebody else? And the rejections just make me work on everything from my elevator speech to what do I bring, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much
100%.
it helped hone my little connection. It also made me learn that cold calling people and asking them for stuff isn't the best way to make things happen.
Yep.
But I'd had enough success doing that that I kept doing it, and then I just changed and developed personal relationships with a lot of these people and companies. So now I know them by first name. I can call them up. I'm talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, High Point actually debuted their HP 15 at my booth at NRA.
Yeah.
And that's because I actually had personal relationship with not only the owner of High Point, but the people that work there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it takes.
Oh,
All right,
absolutely.
go ahead,
Oh,
man. I didn't mean to hijack stuff, but I really appreciate it, Mike.
no, dude. That's what we're doing. We're having a conversation.
Yeah, man.
So
That was good.
I love that. Man.
Yeah,
I
and I
love
think I
that.
remember. I think I met you at Tactical Response Alumni Weekend the same year I met KD,
What year?
2019.
2019. Okay.
It had been the
Yeah.
same
Could
year.
have. Yeah. Yeah. Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
That's funny
Yeah.
because I met Train and Learn 2019.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all met at the same time, same year.
Mm-hmm.
Same year. Oh, damn. That's good. That's crazy.
Now look at us.
That's great. Yep. Years later, still in the industry, still doing pretty big things.
Hey, man, I remember when I jumped into this. I remember what Waller told me when I told him we're doing this. He's like, you see a lot of companies and a lot of people get in this, and a lot of people fall out. And here I am. I don't know, 5 years into this, and you're like, hey, you're not going to be one of them. And here I am, and we've got some stuff in the works and been traveling, and it's been great, man. So appreciate all the support from not only you, but also Chris and Tony as well, and everybody else that we know.
100%, man. 100%. I'm gonna give everybody their flowers. I remember Clayton in 2019, and I met you, and you just were into training. Now you got all those certificates behind you, and
that's not even all of them.
I'm pretty sure it's not. It's your wall looks kind of full, but yeah, man, that's good, dude. You've been doing great, man. You ended up starting your own training business, so I applaud you, man.
Yeah, appreciate
Keep pushing, dude. You got a wonderful family. Your wife, your boys, and stuff like that. Everything.
Yeah, Chris is great.
Yeah,
Yes,
Chris, all right. Chris, all right.
Damn.
Good work, man. But no, man, Chris, man, South Carolina Gun School, dude. Shout out to Chris, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember when I met you, man. It was like, dude, we locked in. We were like family from the jump.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We all were.
I never forget the time he came down to the machine gun shoot I did on my range, and what was it, Jelani? He got pulled over by sheriff's department, and we're like 50 deep, bro. It's like one cop pulled up, and then next you know it was like six, and all of a sudden they started looking. They weren't even paying attention because like we're all trained individuals. You know what I mean? They just. Like 10 minutes later, they looked around and it was like 50 people surrounded him. And Chris was right by the damn, front entrance of the damn Dollar General, just sitting there, posted with a long beard. Like he's about to, like, if something go down, he's gonna fucking like get ready to start smoking. We're not talking about killing cops here. We're pro law enforcement. But long story short, I knew at that moment, man, he was locked in because they saw Jay. He got pulled over for some BS reason, and us, everybody in the community, we just went there to support our brother, and Chris was right there. So at that moment, I knew he was a real one. I knew he had some black in him.
I try. I try. he be fighting it.
I was waiting on Tony to say something.
That's why you guys broke up. That's exactly why you guys broke up.
I was waiting on him to say something.
All right, here's the thing. Most people, you want to tell the backstory on the whole breakup thing that we've been joking about for, what is it?
I don't know.
3 years, 4 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, explain the breakup.
Okay. We're out for breakfast.
All right.
Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
Yeah, we went out to breakfast to the country kitchen out to Festus, Missouri, during training line. It was on the way. It was on the way to the farm at training line. and we stopped to get something to eat, and we got the bill, and they said separate, together or separate. And Chris looked at her because Chris and I were sitting at the table, and he said, we're not together." And I was like, "Well, that's one way to break up with me. That's kind of messed up." And it just went on there that we were acting like we were a couple that split up at the place, and the woman didn't know what to do. The waitress had no idea what to do with two
None.
big ass dudes acting like they were in a freaking lover's spat. It was
Oh,
hilarious, and we just turned that up to an 11 everywhere we go.
Oh yeah.
Well,
oh
I
God.
think what hurt her was somehow she got the mental image of me and you in bed together. I think
Oh
that's what
yeah, I
messed
think
her
that
up.
broke her. I think that broke that poor woman. She's probably drinking now.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
They probably thought y'all
That
were
woman's in a rehab in a
gangsters.
Oh God!
that woman's in a rehab in a third world country right now, trying to get off some like black tar heroin.
Damn.
Oh shit. All right, man. So let's jump into this some more back. We kind of got off the rails here, but that's what happens with us. So let's. I just want to talk about let's start from your first incident. Kind of break it down what happened and walk us through it, man.
Okay, so 2019, leaving Kevin Dixie's Train and Learn Industry event was the first one. Before I get into it, I got a good.
Oh boy.
So I ain't made it to the last few Train and Learns. KD banned me. He said, "It seems like every time I go to Train and Learn, I get into a shooting." So I can't go to Train and Learn anymore because I went to the one in 2019, then I got in a shooting. Then I went to one in 2023, I got into a shooting right after. So, yeah.
Damn, I never really
I'm
thought about
banned.
that. Shit, I didn't realize that. Holy
realize that
shit!
Yeah, you think about it. Yeah. So I'm banned. No, I'm just like, but 2019 left KD's Train and Learn Industry event. Had a great time. Saw you guys there too as well. Was with my buddy Devin. Everybody know Devin. Kiss the Kings. Shout out to Kiss the Kings. Me and Devin was driving in the car. We were headed back home. He was taking the train back to. I think he was going to Virginia.
Yep,
I think so.
he was
I
still
think it
there.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was going to Virginia. He was taking the train back, and got there. We were still in a rental car, training clothes. Went and picked up my son from my mom's house. Dropped off my rifle. I had some long guns and what they could deem assault weapons in the state of Illinois. And this is before the ban, so we can't have assault style weapons in the inner city. You can have it outside the city, like the suburbs, but you can't have it in the inner city. So I dropped off those weapons. And I just took my handguns and had my H&K VP9. I had full metal jacket, some training ammunition. Still loaded up in it. I had the 10+1 magazine because we have magazine restrictions also in the state of Illinois. Inside the city limits, it's 10 rounds in a magazine. You can have one in the chamber. So 10+1, I had 11 rounds in the magazine. I had my secondary weapon, which you can carry multiple weapons, you just can't carry the magazines that hold more than 10. So I had the HK VP9, I had the Glock 30 Gen 4, and 45 ACP. So I'm hearing what you're hearing.
Who's breathing heavy?
It wasn't me.
I mean, we're not ready for the OnlyFans content yet.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, well, it sounds... Okay. All right, we should be good. We headed to Chicago. At this time, I was with my ex-girlfriend. Headed towards Chicago. This was in the Little Village area, so this is right off 25th in California. Anybody know anything about Chicago? We got the big jail on 26 in California, which you can just throw a rock and hit it. It's the largest jail, I think, in the country. If not, definitely the state. But it's huge. Very, very well known. It's a lot of, all the murderers in the city of Chicago, they get locked up there. So right next to the jail, pulled up. My ex-girlfriend now, the woman I was dating at the time, she was a nurse, so she had to live in the medical district. So she didn't know really where she were. So I would stay there the days she had to work, and then when she wasn't working, she'll come stay at my place. So it was a really bad area. Little Village is a very well-known Latino, Latin King gang infested area. They were like literally having wars. So Chicago was, I mean, it was extremely dangerous at that time. It was probably number one for like 8 years in a row in homicides. The most dangerous city by far, literally like a war zone. And probably about 3:30 in the afternoon, I pull in there. Devin's in the passenger seat. My son's in the back seat. Got out the car, went to walk towards the door. And my son was yelling. He was like, Dad, he was 5 years old at this time. I don't know if you guys met MJ, but he was 5 years old at the time. We were walking. I was walking first, and he started yelling. He was like, Dad, I want to go in. I want to go inside and play my game. And prior to that, there was an incident in that same alley where I called the cops because they were just like, they were targeting me. So in that area, if you are an African American or white guy, anything outside of Spanish or Latino, they would target you, and they would just assume that you're either in the opposite gang or a cop. And in Chicago, they shoot cops, so it's just either one. I was a target. So, in what happened prior, it prompted us. I was like, I told my ex, I told her like, hey, like we probably should move out of here. Everything literally in the house was packed up. I was in the process of moving her out of that house, and I walked down that alley. My son's yelling my name. I turned back around, and I didn't have a fire on me at the time. And he was just like, Dad, I want to go back in there and play the game. I went back, grabbed him, and I was like, man, I probably should like carry a gun. I only got to walk like 10, 15 feet to this door, but anything can happen within that distance. So I grabbed my H&K VP9. I had it in I think a tier 1 holster or something. I think it was a tier 1 holster, but I had an appendix carry. No, I think it was a chaos concealment. I had the gun appendix carry, and I grabbed my son. He was holding my hand, and we were walking through the alley. I got to a trash can and dumped my trash that I had just from on the road, like a bunch of like linen, like wrappers and stuff like that. I dump it in the trash can, and then there's this Hispanic male who is shouting. And I look at him. He sees me. And he's like, yo, what it is, and starts throwing up all these different gang signs with his, I believe it was his right hand. No, left hand. And then with his right hand, he pulls out a gun and flashes it. He just does it real fast like that. And when I saw that, initially, I grabbed my son, I put him behind me, and I started shielding him and pushing him back towards, behind like the garage area. So if you guys know anything about Chicago or any type of inner city, you're in New Jersey, Tony, so you'll probably know our alleys are in the back of the houses. So, and everything is like really close. So you could open your window and touch your neighbor's house. That's how close it is. So right. I pushed my son behind me and back behind the other garage, and the guy pulls out his gun. He pulls out the gun then again and was like, man, what kind of fucking gang you in? I'll kill your fucking ass. I then go for my gun. That's appendix carry, the VP9. As I go to unholster my gun, he sees it and he starts to open fire on me. So when he goes to open fire on me, I just immediately return fire. My first round hit him somewhere center mass. I still to this day don't know exactly where. I probably should get the police report. I don't know exactly where, but I do know I hit him center mass. And not like, I'm still kind of new. Like, I'm not like really trained up nowhere near compared to how I am today. And I don't have any prior military history. So and all I really know from any like real world or experience of someone being shot was, the movies. You know what I mean? Like, you shoot somebody, they fall out and they scream, this guy he gets hit and he's still fucking shooting. You know what I mean? So we're just exchanging gunfire, but I immediately, instead of, freezing, I immediately just went right back to a lot of the things that I was being taught just hours before. You know what I mean? I just fired probably like 4,000 rounds just hours before I got here. So I was really warmed up at that time. You know what I mean? Devin, for some reason, he still thought we were at a training class, and then he's heard more gunfire, and he's like, no, we're not at a training class. So that's what was going on in his head. I'm inside the gunfight. We're exchanging rounds. We're firing rounds back and forth, and my training just kicked in. So, and this is the reason why I'm a huge advocate for training, because I really saw the difference it made in that circumstance. This guy was the same age as me. We both are from, we both live in Chicago. We both have a gun, but just me having a basic level at this time, skill set and how to properly hold and pull my trigger back, and all that good stuff, like everything, sight alignment. I had at least a basic level understanding how to use your cover versus concealment, just understanding these basic things. I use my environment. I sidestep behind the fence as he's still firing, and I stopped firing briefly, and then he stopped firing and he picks his head up. Now, mind you, all this it seems as if it's going really slow for me, because I actually experienced tunnel vision, so everything is like amplified and everything is extremely slow. But it's actually going really, 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 really fucking fast. You know what I mean? This guy's shooting back at me. He stops shooting. He picks his head up. When he picks his head up, I saw it as clear as day. And he's still about 15 feet from me. He's firing behind like some concrete. So he's actually behind cover. You know what I mean? And I'm actually just behind concealment. But I was able to use it to my advantage, because when he lifted his head up, I wasn't in the same spot. That's the reason why shooting and moving is extremely important, So anybody who's tuned into this podcast, it is extremely important, because I wasn't where he thought I was. You know what I mean? And he's not used to, I'm assuming, being in a gunfight with somebody who has some type of training. So when he picks his head up, I slow down. I see it. I can actually even see, not necessarily, I just put my gun on him. I couldn't really see my sights. I put my gun, I pointed my gun towards his head, and I pulled the trigger. It was smooth. I didn't hear any gunshots. After my first gunshot, I didn't hear any more. I heard I think mine. I didn't hear any more gunshots. I was completely just in tunnel vision and in focus. And when he picked his head up, I took a shot at his head. He spent around, fell through the door. And when he was down on the ground, I'm still firing. I go empty. I'm out of ammunition. I turn back around to see if my son is still alive, because he probably fired about 16 rounds at me, and I fired 11. So, do the math. You're talking about 30 something rounds, or a little bit less than 30 something rounds, fired. And there's a 5-year-old less than 5.5, 6 feet away from us. You know what I mean? It's at least me. So it was extremely traumatized, and that's one thing I actually go back and have nightmares about when I turn around and my son, just praying that he's still standing up, he's still alive. And that was the slowest turn in my life. I turn around and I see my son, and he's still standing, and I was really grateful for that. I just immediately grabbed him. Had him in my left, tucked up underneath my left shoulder here, and just grabbed him. And I run back towards the car, because I have my secondary weapon in the glove box. I had the Glock 30 45 ACP. Gave my gun to Devin, and then I took the Glock 30. We put my son in the back of the car. Devin goes to put I told Devin, just check him. Devin was like, man, all right, I got him. Just go. He, we throw all the luggages on him. Devin's throwing the luggages on him. Devin's, getting my son, making sure my son is safe. Huge, me and Devin are, close friends to this day. You know what I mean? Because, that's something, we both lived through a really traumatizing situation, and he was there for me. So he did have a gun, but he was a victim of gun violence because he was not a state resident. He couldn't carry his gun concealed in the state of Chicago, state of Illinois, and in the city of Chicago. Mm-hmm. So he was a victim of gun violence because he's a law-abiding citizen. So he didn't have his gun was in the back, disassembled, and he didn't have no weapon. So he just, he instead of just freezing up, he immediately acted. He checked my son for gunshot wounds and tried to use whatever he could around him to, keep my son safe. And I went back out, ran towards where the shooting was, and I, what we call now, scan the area, make sure there wasn't any other threats coming out or things like that. I ran back up towards the guy. I'm scanning, making sure no one's coming out the back door, because again, like I said, when I shot him, he's not like the movies, they don't just fall out, or he fell, spent, and fell through the back door. So half of his body is laying outside the door, the other half is laying inside the door. So I go up, I scan, I push through the door, and I have my firearm pointed up towards the steps, and I'm just scanning the area. And I look at him, I immediately take my jacket off, I holster my gun, take my jacket off, and I was going to go to try to render aid to him. I spent him around. I mean, his body feels like it weighs about fucking 500 pounds, because you're dealing with
dead weight,
a man who is dead weight. You know what I mean? So he's heavy as shit at this time. So I'm grabbing him as best I can. I was able to get him spent back over, and I'm checking him for gunshot wounds to his body. And I take my jacket off, but when I spent him around, he was laying in a pool of blood. Like, it was so much blood, it was insane. And he had brain matter. He had a huge hole on his head. He was at that moment, he was pretty much done. I was gonna try to render aid to him, but when I saw the hole in his head and I check his pulse is like, he's dropping fast. He has a very, 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 low pulse. So I just take my gun back out. I back off of him. I'm on the phone with 911. I told him, hey, my name is Mychael Waller. I'm licensed to carry. This is the area where I'm at. I was involved in a shooting. Can you get EMT? Here immediately, law enforcement. And I described what I had on, and the lady was talking. She wanted to keep me going, but I immediately just stopped talking. I just told her who I was, my name, license to carry. This is what's going on. This is the location where we're at, and I'm the victim. This is what I'm wearing. Get law enforcement here, get paramedics and EMT here as fast as they can. And CPD, I have a lot of family in law enforcement, so but Chicago, even my family members that work for CPD, they don't have the best, reputation. You know what I mean? So I didn't know how this encounter with law enforcement right after being involved in a shooting was going to go. But I holstered my gun after I scanned the area, went into what I felt at that time a safe area. Law enforcement pulled up pretty fast, within maybe a minute or two. In Chicago and most inner cities, I think Memphis and Atlanta has them, but there's these big old, looks like, I forgot what you call them. Y'all, Tony, you may know.
Shot spotter.
Shot caller.
Yeah, they use those overseas. So exactly. So a gunshot goes off, law enforcement know exactly where to respond to that general area. So they got there within a minute or two. There was a cop. When he approached me, he was an African American guy, younger, looked like he was maybe a little bit older than me. I had my hands up, told him, my name is Mychael Waller. I'm on call. I was involved in shooting. He said, "All right, just relax." And at this moment, I'm like, cool. Like, I'm about to be labeled a hero. It's about to be great. I'm happy my son's alive. He was like, "Yeah, put your hands behind your back." And I'm like, oh shit. He handcuffed me. I never had handcuffs on my wrist until that day. That was probably one of the worst experiences there. Like, those handcuffs were tight as hell. He handcuffed me, and it's protocol. They have to do that. Right. That's part of their job. So it's going to be an investigation regardless. So they handcuffed me, put me in the back of the squad car, and within a few minutes, there was about 50 cops there. So detectives got there, started raining. Devin, he was out there making sure my son was okay. Law enforcement's out there, they doing their thing. They picked the guy up on the stretcher. They're trying to render aid to him, and it's fucked up. Devin told me this literally just like a year ago, and I did not know. But when they went to pick him up, this motherfucker fell out the damn stretcher. He fucking fell out the stretcher. The dude, it's fucked up, but it is what it is. Devin would say he was starting to fucking laugh, and Devin is terrible. But They picked the dude back up, put him back on a stretcher, and they're giving him chest compressions, and they got him to the hospital and they were able to get him. They put him on life support. He was showing little signs of brain activity, but he was failing pretty fast. Shot him with a Full Metal jacket. It wasn't even a jacket, a hollow point. I think it was 115 grain blaze of brass or some shit. It wasn't really anything fancy, but his brain was fucked up. So he died. They pronounced him dead 3 days later, but he was pretty much dead on the scene. And then they revived him and got him back there, but he died technically 3 days later from the gunshot wound.
So a couple things.
Full metal jacket, 115 grain, 9 millimeters have been put in dicks and dirt since 1903. They still work.
Right. So, but I want to touch on something. Yeah. I just want to remind everybody that this was how many hours after your first official training? You said like 6 hours, 7 hours. What was it? Yeah.
Well, Atlanta, Georgia's like not Atlanta. Excuse me. St. Louis, Missouri's like 3.5, 4 hours, 6 hours. It was about St. Louis. St. Louis about maybe 3, 4
6 hours.
4 hours, and then I stopped. So maybe 6 hours. Yeah, 6.5 hours.
And you weren't going that far from the car to the house, like you said, about 10, 15 feet, right?
Maybe 15 feet at the most.
This is why I know Chris and even Tony and yourself why we stress carry your firearm everywhere you go and get training. That's not that far. That's not that far of a distance, and look what happened.
Yep.
I said this with actually Argo told me this. Argo J told me this. He was like, "ABC, dude." I'm like, "What?" He was like, "Always be carrying."
Yeah.
It makes no difference what local law is because they're not going to be there when you need them. Like Mike said about Devin. Devin was disarmed by being a law-abiding citizen, and that's why I stress. There's a difference between being a law-abiding citizen and being a responsible armed citizen.
Well, that's something else. That's something else.
A law-abiding citizen.
Yep.
A law-abiding citizen was Devin that day, which luckily he was able to take care of your son. But what if it was a second person? Now you went from having a 10+1 VP9 to having a 6-shot friggin' Glock 30. You're not going to be any help to Dev because you just took the damn other guy.
And and I love that you talked about that. You said that it's a difference between being a law-abiding citizen versus being a responsible armed citizen. And in both shootings, I was a law-abiding citizen and I was a responsible armed citizen. We're going to talk about that. So just put a notate that, Tony.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about that too.
And the thing too.
Go ahead, Clay. My bad, bro.
No, you're good, man. And the other thing too is you said he had 16 rounds. So I don't want to make this a political statement, but I'm pretty much going to anyways. But it's 16 rounds, which is already banned in Chicago. You had 10. So all this conversation, like Tony talks about his events and all the fights that we get involved. These magazine ban capacities, nobody follows them but the law-abiding armed citizen. Criminals will not follow them. Prime example right here.
Nope. So. Exactly. Yeah, that was a good point, Clayton. That was definitely a good point. Yeah, he didn't care. Didn't care at all.
No, he didn't give a shit.
Didn't care.
Well,
and I'm glad.
Two things I want to point out real quick.
No, Chris, shut up. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you're good. I thought you were done. Go ahead. No. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that I'm just glad that you, Devin, and your son, survived by that because obviously,
I appreciate it.
I can, and I'm sure your son still to this day remembers that very vividly, and I'm glad he's doing.
Oh,
good.
Definitely so.
I'm glad he's doing good now.
Yeah,
these days, and, you both are. All three of you are here. So now I'm finished, Chris.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you, all you too, and all you guys checked on me immediately after the shooting. So,
I'm going to talk about the second one once we get to that point too. So,
sure.
Go ahead, Chris.
But yeah, two things I wanted to kind of bring up that I think are really, really important on what he did here after the situation is when he called 911. He only said 4 things, and I stress this so much in all of my classes, not just my permit classes: who you are, where you're at, what you're wearing, and what happened. And that
And
is
shut the hell up.
Don't say another thing. The other thing is, as you can see, dispatch probably isn't really going to get every bit of that information out to them as they're rolling up on scene. So
Very true.
Don't fight with the cops when they come up and try to put handcuffs on you because they haven't gotten all the information. You're not under arrest. It's really called investigative detention. But as you see, he was put in handcuffs because they don't have the full story. So please do not fight with the law enforcement when they're coming up doing that. That is part of their job. You need to understand, even if you're doing the right thing, they don't have the full story. That's something that is going to happen to you. And it's possibly going to happen even if it happens in your own home. So a lot of people don't realize that. And I'm glad you talked about that because those are very, very, to me, very key things, especially after using anything to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
Sure. 100%, man. That's a recorded conversation. I was that was stressed to me, when I was working with civilian force arms. But also, they even teach that in your concealed carry class, man. All you guys are concealed carry instructors. That's something they teach in the concealed carry class, man. Shut the hell up, It's a recorded conversation. So say very little information, but say important information.
Right.
Because obviously you don't want to get shot too, because that was also my biggest fear when I started carrying the gun is, Lord forbid, if I had to use it when law enforcement arrived, am I going to be possibly shot by cops? You know what I mean? And I ain't going to bring race into it. That I think we all are concerned. The cops run up, they may think I'm a robber, but they may think Clayton's a goddamn school shooter or something,
Well, I had
Damn.
He definitely looks like one. He just not.
No, I mean, for real, something like on that, I had an issue here where somebody called 911, gave the wrong address, reported domestic violence, and gave them my address.
Oh, shit.
Well, long story short, I couldn't see who was banging on my door. I went to step out with a gun in my hand. And for whatever reason, something told me to put my gun in my pocket. And I put it in my pocket and I stepped out and there was an Anderson County Sheriff's officer standing over to the corner of my deck. And I crossed my arms and I told him, look, man, I couldn't see who you were. There is a gun in my pocket. He's like, keep your hands crossed. We're cool. And then he started asking me questions and that's when we figured out what happened. But little things like that, somebody like me, my size, step out the door on a domestic violence call with a gun in your hand. I could have possibly been shot.
Yeah.
100%. So no, I mean you handled everything the right way, man, and it's
100%.
That's why we all wanted to have you on here to talk about it, to see again why training is so important and understanding crucial, little things like this. Yeah,
it's crucial.
All right, so I got a couple questions for
What's
you.
up, dude?
After post event, because I know you ran this thing through your head millions of times. What lessons did you learn that you took away from this, like shooting the first one?
A lot of things. Environment. Like sometimes I blame myself because I shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? It's like when my ex was like, "Oh, I moved to this area." I'm like, "Man, that's terrible." She was green. She didn't know no better. She was a nurse, so she didn't know any better. I'm like, "You shouldn't have been there." Me being 22, 23, I had a lot of, testosterone. I feel like, man, no, it's okay. When you're at home, I'm going to come over there and protect you. I could have changed my environment. I could have been like, no, just cancel the lease. Just come stay with me. You know what I mean? Or, hey, cancel the lease and you're just going to be homeless. But no, I said, just can't, I could have changed. I could have changed my environment. I could have put myself in a situation where it was, I wasn't even there. And that's the first part of being a responsible gun owner is, choosing to be in, just your environments, your environments, change your environments and you can, definitely at least decrease, as much as you can, you being in possibly another shooting or being in a shooting at all. You know what I mean? So it's just environment. That's one thing I took from it was changing my environment.
All right, cool. I get what you're. I'm sorry, real quick, Tony, and I'm gonna let you do your questions. I apologize, but I get what you're saying on that.
Mhm.
But it's not. The hindsight's always 20/20. Yeah, I understand
Sure.
what you're saying as far as changing the environment. But to me, a key thing there, as far as you're talking about the environment, you understood the environment that you were going into, and
100%.
you were prepared for that going into it.
Yes,
And
definitely so.
that's I think a really really big key thing is when you get into this and you get a better mindset of self-defense, you start looking a little bit more at things like that and understanding where you're going, and not only, and even if you don't know where you're going, say you're new to an area, understanding some of those signs that you can possibly see to understand what type of environment that you're in.
Right.
Sure. 100%. I appreciate that. Yeah. I agree 100%. Makes sense for sure. Definitely.
All right, your equipment. Did you change anything up after that event? Start carrying a spare mag, get a different firearm, get a red dot. What?
Definitely. Now, that's a really good question because we're going to talk about sights. I didn't even see my sights in the gunfight. I thought I saw them at like the very beginning, but other than that, I didn't even see my sights. So I'm a huge fan of red dots, but if I can't even see my sights, I think the chances of me picking up a red dot is going to be even more like, man, is it going to even actually happen versus my personal experience? So my setup now, I would say I did start carrying a spare magazine because now my fear of running out of ammunition is fucking amplified because in every gunfight, in that gunfight at least, I ran out of ammunition. You know what I mean? So ammunition, and also carry a handheld Surefire X Pro light as well. So a gun, spare magazine, my handheld magazine, and I keep medical with me also. So
All
tourniquet,
right, cool.
basic kit.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I was talking, so one of the guys in my class today is a state trooper here in South Carolina. He was involved in a shooting. He was chased a dude, guy got stuck, shot at him, and he had actually reached out and was kind of thanking me for some of the training and stuff before he actually became
Sure.
law enforcement, because he was like, it really
Right.
helped him out in the situation. But I asked him about it, and I was like, did you see your sights? And they've actually, for South Carolina, they're giving them Glock 45s with aim point acros on them.
That's great.
So he didn't even really see it. He was almost, the way he described it was like he was looking through the gun.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. It kind of feels, damn, I've never heard that. That's insane. That's literally how it feels. It almost feels as if like you're inside like you can, like the barrel. It's just
Right.
the barrel, and that's the reason why I feel like how you properly having a proper thumb forward grip, or a proper grip, however you're gripping the firearm, whatever kind of gun you're carrying, is so important, because like just sight alignment, man, and I mean, sights are extremely important. I'm not taking anything away from them. I love red dots. I think red dots are extremely important, but I think it's more of a mental training thing, and you develop just muscle memory. And
Right.
when that happens, your brain slows down, and it just does. It's like when you're driving home, you don't even remember how many turns you made, but you fucking made it home. It's just doing. It's just thinking, and
Yeah.
it's doing.
Yep.
You just develop this muscle memory, and you fucking just do it. You know what I mean? So, but also, mindset, man, mindset, and just mindset, and having the will to do it, because I know people who shoot really, really fucking well and got all the great equipment, and I'm not, trying to throw no shade or, say no bullshit, but just fucking, because like we do live in a time where fucking, masculine men are like under attack, and like just have like, be someone who have, I don't know how to really explain it, but just have a fucking pair of fucking nuts, man. Like if you see something going on, like the unfortunate that woman who was tacked on that train and stabbed it, and these active shootings and these mass shootings going on, if you see something, man, just fucking act, bro. Just act. Just do it like as men. Women as well. I'm not, but I'm really talking to men now, because we are being attacked in the media. We're being attacked in the world. We gotta fucking do something, man. So if you're a man and you have a gun, fucking carry that gun, man. Get some training. Everyone here is an instructor, including myself. Get some fucking training, man. Get out there on the range and let's make training even more cool again, because I felt like training kind of took a slope, and people are just more into buying just Gucci guns versus actually training with your gun. Training took it was I think it was 2019, 2020. It was like a wave, you know what I mean? Training was cool to do. Everybody was posting their videos on social media and competing with one another. And it was kind of cheesy at first, but I just love the fact that people are actually out there practicing with their firearms and shooting. You know what I mean? This whole range days is kind of also, I feel like personally, it's fucking this up. You know what I mean? Because it's more about let's just go out there and just shoot machine guns, and we're not actually practicing. You know what I mean? And that's cool for certain, in some cases, but find a vetted instructor and just get out there and train, man. That's if I can tell anyone that's listening to this podcast, vet your instructor, find a quality instructor, and get out there and fucking train.
So I want to bring up something.
So I have a couple of. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to bring up another point. You said something about everybody wants to buy all these Gucci guns and all this stuff, which is fine. I've got cool guns. Yeah. We all got cool ass guns, but sure. Yeah. Let's touch it. Tony, you got high points. Come on, man.
I'm a brokey mother effer.
But I want to touch on that real quick, because everybody wants to buy all this cool ass shit, throw it in their gun, and they think, cool, I have the latest and greatest whatever, Whackmaster 5000, and I don't need training because I have all this Gucci shit on my gun. You didn't have
talking about guns.
You're talking about Chris's right hand.
Oh, yeah.
You talking about the Whackmaster 5000? I'm like, wait a minute. When did we change subject?
But shut up. But it brings. You said, well, I'm guessing that VP9 you had was stock, right?
Yeah, stock.
Yeah, so you don't need all this fancy shit on your guns. You need training. No. You need fucking training.
You need training. You need a quality weapon. AK is a quality weapon.
But no, I'm not taking anything away from that.
Invest in it. Yeah. No. I hear you. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I just want people to,
Yeah. You get what I'm saying. All right, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
So you said, going back to what happened, you said the first shot hit him around the chest area. I know you're not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's center mass somewhere in his upper, in a center mass somewhere up here. I don't know. Exactly.
I know you said maybe the first shot you saw the front sight. Is that where you were focused on when everything started to go down? Was kind of the chest area?
Yes. That's the only thing I was trying to hit. His head was, because again, he came within 10 feet, but for most of the gunfight, he was 15 feet away from me. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, the only reason I bring that up is, does anybody know where the number one spot most people are hit in self-defense shootings? Just out of curiosity. Exactly. Mm-hmm. In the hand, because everybody's focused on the gun that's in the hand as the threat instead of what's actually holding the gun, like what you did. Yep. So I think that's a very key.
Good point,
I think that's a very key thing to bring up. And that goes back to training. You understood what the threat was. It was the person pulling the trigger, not the actual trigger. So that right there again is a key point to why we stress getting some training. We don't do this because we're trying to take your money and we're trying to get rich. We do this because we want to help you make sure you are able to go home with your family, just like what Mychael was.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
That's huge on training right there. Is if that's how you can tell how most people don't get training, is if you look at the statistics, the majority of the time people are shot in the hand.
Yep.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. That was a really good point, man. Yeah.
I also like to point out that
there's a lot of things to be learned here. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Clay.
I was just going to point out that Chris pointed out that Waller's a chess guy, apparently.
Nice. So, there are a lot of lessons here. One of the podcasts I was actually a co-host of, self-defense gun stories. We actually did Mike's story, which was really crazy because we were rotating out of six different firearms.
Yep.
Oh dang, we lost Tony.
Tony, we lost you.
He was doing good for a while.
Did something?
Connection.
Don't know what happened.
Everything looks good.
Yeah.
According to this, it's still here. Tony,
where'd the Dark Knight go?
I'm Batman.
Oh, my daughter hated me when I started that picture.
Oh, the Darkman picture.
Yeah.
Dude, that was sorry. When I saw that picture, that was the first thing I thought of.
So after we record, I remember to tell you guys a story after we're not recording. What was said tonight is kind of funny. Well, Tony is gone. We got him back.
There he is.
Hey.
Well, if that wants some bullshit. Yeah, it said
We got you back.
It said the app had a bug. I had to clear that cache. Yeah, I had to clear the cache and come back in. Anyway, I was on self-defense gun stories, and we actually did this story, and it was like lessons learned, and it was like personal. Like, this is not. We did 4 self-defense stories each episode, and we talked about what people did right, what they could have done better, and that kind of thing. And I'd listen to you, but it had just kind of happened. It was still in the news, so I didn't have the details that I have now. And we were talking about getting training. Even then, I didn't know what kind of ammo you had. All I know is I was there with you. I know what kind of training you got because I was there too. And you were shooting way more than I was. You were shooting a lot more than I was, and you were getting it done. And then when we're talking about firearms and what do you carry, you like, I have a stock VP9. And it's like, I carry, at least that time, it was stock. I got a Gen 2 Glock 19.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a 1991 build. So it's like, you don't need the latest and the greatest. Now, I got some different sights on it because I have Triclops sights on it that pretty much are analog red dot.
Sure.
It is so fast. Once I got used to it, I've competed with it, I've shot it. But it's about putting rounds down range. It's about dry firing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about moving to cover if you can, and damn sure you don't stand still.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean,
you move, communicate.
Yep, exactly. So, all right. Well, should we jump into incident number 2?
Yeah. 2019. Shortly after that, I bought that my shooting range out in Sneeville, and my goal was to move here. So my goal was to move here, and throughout the years, just new things happened. I ended up having 2 more daughters, so I couldn't really move the way I wanted to, and broke up with my ex, which was it was for the best. It was just for the best. And me and my this is about maybe a year before me and my wife met. Yeah, about a year before me and my wife met. 2023. I was leaving Chicago, and this is go back to changing your environment. I was hanging out at a tattoo shop called 9 Mag with one of my friends, Ryan. And I was going to stay there. We was going to go out to a party, but I was like, it's getting late, and I didn't want to get into any more BS. And I was trying to, think about, the potential, incidents that can happen and change my environment. So I drove back out towards my house, which was in Moni, Illinois, not too far from Frankfort. And I was driving past Lincoln Highway, and a guy I know that worked at a gun store in the area. He was at the bar. A lot of people really didn't like him too much, but he thought a lot of me after hearing my stories and things like that, and seeing me come up to the gun range and things like that, and shooting and stuff. So I decided to stop by the bar where he normally is because he kept telling me that day, man, I'm gonna go up there. I left the range earlier that day. He was like, I'm gonna go up there. Anybody want to come up there? And all the guys are kind of like, just like, forget you, dude. I drove by. It's about 11:30, 12 o'clock. I stopped by the bar. It's called the Ryan's Pub. It's in Frankfort, Illinois. It's right off of I think it's Route 30. Yeah, it's on Lincoln Highway in Frankfort, Illinois. The Ryan's Pub. Stopped in there. Went over there. I saw him. He, pretty shocked that I when I walked in. When I walked in, the place kind of got quiet. It was like 20, 30 people in there. You don't normally see. It's like an old biker bar. You don't normally see a lot of African Americans in there anyway. So they got quiet, and he's a regular. He came up to me and dapped me up. Was like, "What's up, Mike?" And we were shooting the shit, hanging out. It was like my second time there actually. We were hanging out. I figured I'll stay for like 45 minutes or so. At this time, I'm an Indiana resident. I'm not an Illinois resident. So we'll touch on the point of being a responsible gun owner and versus being a responsible armed citizen. I was a responsible armed citizen that day, not necessarily a law-abiding citizen. I was a responsible armed citizen. So I carried at that time. I was carrying a full-size M&P Performance Center with a Holosun 509T red dot Surefire light and I think it was a Tier 1 holster. But my backup that I normally carry was a Smith & Wesson, also M&P Shield. It was one of the first ones that came out, single stack, 8+1, and I had a spare magazine in my pocket. It's a really small, compact gun, so I figured this bar had a lot of raps of, I guess racial people in there and stuff like that. So I was I probably better take a gun. But I'm in a really nice area, though. The area is actually really nice. It's kind of rural. It's pretty quiet. Nothing really happens there, besides maybe some few words, but nothing really too much. Much better than Chicago. I walk in, I was talking with them, and we shooting the shit. I have my M&P appendix carrier with a 7-round magazine in my left pocket, and we were just hanging out. I thought I was going to stay for about 45 minutes. That 45 minutes turned into closing time. Closing time is around, I think, 3 p.m. No, 3 a.m. Excuse me, 3 a.m. in the morning. People started, getting closer to closing time. People started kind of like, cycling out. It was 20 people by the time closing time came around. It was probably like 6, I think. Yeah, 4, 6. And the owner lived upstairs. I didn't even know that, but there was 2 guys on the deck, and then there was 4 people inside. It was me, one of the gentlemen I came to hang out with, and then there was 2 bartenders, a male and a female, and both people on the deck were men. And we were inside, and 2 guys walked in at closing time, and they were covered in dark clothing. They had hoods over their head. They had all black. I mean, it was just pitch dark. They had, masks, people call them shiesty masks, but they had masks on their face covering them, so we really couldn't see. And this is kind of 2023. COVID's and I can tell they're young, but COVID's kind of not becoming a thing anymore. It's starting to fade out. And young people, we never really took it that serious anyways because we were not affected if we were, young and healthy. So when I saw him with the mask, I kind of sensed something was up. The bartenders sensed something was up. Everybody in there sensed that there was something going on. When I saw him, I immediately unholstered my gun, had it underneath the bar. I was on the far end of the bar. The bar is kind of like a big U. I was on the other end with the bathrooms behind me. And the guys were like, hey, can we have a drink? The bartender was like, nah, I'm sorry. We called last call about 40 minutes ago. You know what I mean? And he was like, well, you sure I came from long ways, you know what I mean, to get a drink. And he was like, no, I'm so sorry. He was like, I came from really far. I want to have a drink here. I've been hearing about this Ryan's Pub, da-da-da. He was like, and when he said that, and I can hear his voice, he's young, I knew something was also up because of we don't even come to this bar, bro. You know what I mean? only reason why I'm here is because of this dude. Like, it's we don't really come to this bar, especially you don't come long ways to go to. This is kind of like a hole in the wall bar, and people who go there are all regulars. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that. But that's what he was saying, and I sensed something was up, so I kind of intervened, and I was like, like, nah, dude, he called last call. You know what I mean? Kind of try to, like, because I can hear just based off of their tone of their voice, and I can see briefly in their face that they're either African American or Latino or something like that. So I kind of just try to calm the situation down by me getting involved. And I'm like, hey, dude, he called last call, and I can sense them kind of getting upset. He was like, man, well, can I at least go to the bathroom? I was like, yeah, the bathroom's right behind me. And when they said that, I kind of feel like I was calming things down. I holster my gun back up. It's just slightly out. I just holster back up, conceal it. They start walking around the bar, and by the time they got all the way, not all the way around, just a little bit more than halfway, just seconds after I holster my my shield, they pull out guns, like off of a movie. And this is all recorded. This is everything about this. The whole thing's recorded. They pull out guns. We have 2 weapons pointed at me and my friend and both of the bartenders. And I got 2 suspects, and they're kind of moving like this. One jumps over the bar. The other guy comes closer towards me and my friend. And when he approaches us, they have the gun on us, and they're threatening, saying, "Hey, man, give me all your shit." Da 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 da. They're rumbling through, trying to go through our pockets. We're taking everything out of our pockets. The other guys going through the register. They're also saying, "Hey, like y'all calm down." He's trying to keep our voices calm. The whole time the guys on the porch, they didn't even know what was going on. The whole time. He was telling us, stay calm, everybody be cool. He has guns pointed at us. He's threatening us, telling they're going to shoot everybody, they're going to kill people. There's a female bartender. She's like crying. You can see she's like freaking out. At this time, I'm kind of like, after I'm emptying my pockets, I go grab my keys. Excuse me. And I go closer towards the guy. And I went to try to hand him my keys. And before he went to grab I dropped them purposely to see if he would reach down and I can, unholster my gun from appendix carry and get a gun on him, and either get a shot on him and transition to the guy that's over on the inside the bar area. But when I was kind of playing the situation out in my head, I was like, well, I'm probably gonna run into some this is. It's like I'm gonna put the other innocent bystanders at risk if I go this route. I believe I'm skilled enough to do it, but I'm gonna put them at risk. And I just didn't feel like that was necessary at the time. I didn't think that pulling some John Wick shit in the bar was gonna be a good idea, So I just kind of waited, and I was trying to, find the right opportunity to, possibly either everybody run or, get shots on these guys. And the bad guy who had the gun pointed at me, he yelled and said, "Hey, get that lady's purse." So again, I have my hands up. I go grab the purse. I hand the purse to him. He's dumping her purse out on the ground. A gun falls out of her purse. So she had a firearm inside of her purse. He grabs everything and stuffs everything in his fucking like in his drawers or something. Like he's just fucking just ramming it in his pants, like a goddamn kangaroo or something. It was like crazy. He was just like, and he's talking to his buddy who's with him, and he's like, "Man, get all the money," because he's dropping money out the register. I look at a friend that was next to me. I asked him, I looked at him like, "Are you carrying?" And he shook his head. He's licensed to carry, but he was like, "No." It's like, shit. And I had a gun. I didn't know if anyone else had a gun. This lady, her firearm is now taken, so we would have had 2, and we could have possibly evened things out, but they now have her gun as well. And then, the guy, he kind of gets a little agitated. He's like, all right, is there any more money? He points the gun at the male bartender. Was like, man, go in the back and get more money. There got to be more money in the back. And now that I know, it was like $10,000 back there. They probably already had like $2,000 in their pocket. But he told him, no, we didn't did the drop already to the bank. So he's like, no. He was actually, he did really well. He was standing firm on like, no, that's it. Like, you guys got everything. Just please, just leave. And I, again, I come in front. I tried to intervene again. I was like, man, listen, bro, look, I'm like, hey, y'all, listen, y'all got everything, bro. Like, these are good people. Just don't hurt them, man. Y'all got the money. Just take the money and leave. You know what I mean? Like, y'all don't need to do all this. And he pointed the gun at me. He said, shut the fuck up and sit down. So I shut the fuck up and I sat down. I had my hands up and I shut the fuck up, sit down. I'm still trying to size these guys up still. I still have my firearm. I wasn't giving that up. I sat back down, and they're still agitated. They're talking to Mike. Mike's still standing firm on not going to the back and getting money or going back there, because as I didn't know, but the owner lived upstairs, so he was I feel like he was not just protecting the money, he was protecting actually the owner and actually running into any other issues. Thank God, because he's a really older gentleman. But the guy gets frustrated. He's like, man, fuck this. I'm going to start killing y'all. The other guy's pointing the guns at us now. He's like, we finna start killing y'all. He's like, y'all ain't, there's more fucking money. Everybody get everybody's like, I'm going to start killing y'all if y'all give me more money. He said, everybody get over here and get face first on the ground. Like execution style. And if you know anything about Illinois, there was a really famous shooting that happened there where they killed 9 women inside of a Lane Bryant's store. And that's exactly how that shooter killed those women. And he left. And they never found him to this day. He told all of us get face first on the ground. And at this moment, I'm like, all right, Mike, you got to do something. This woman is now screaming. And her screaming kind of really prompted me, because she's like, please don't kill me. I have children. Please, please, please. She comes closer. We all are getting on the ground. I'm like, all right, Mike, I'm going for my gun. As I'm getting down, I'm going for my gun like this. So I'm on my knees. I'm going for my gun, because I feel like, Mike, at this moment, you got to just raise up and do something. You know what I mean? And if the people can come within a general area and close to me, I was like, and everybody is down, and you just raise up and fire and get shots on these 2 guys, which I feel like I was confident enough to beat them. I was assuming they had machine guns, because at this time, Glocks with auto series and things like that were like really, really popular. So I'm like, Mike, but I still felt confident in myself. I was like, I can beat them, but man, you got to do something right now, because they're about to kill y'all, potentially. I don't know. We all get on the ground. We hear some rumbling. I get up. I get my gun out. I raise up. Everybody else is down on the ground. As I raise up, I see them both by the exit, as if they were going to leave. But I raised up and I have my gun in my hand. The guy that was the last to leave, the one that was pointing the gun at us the majority of the time, turns towards me. He still has his gun out in his hand, obviously, and he's like, I told you to get on the fucking ground. And when he did that, I dug down briefly, but then I raised back up and I just punched out and I fired all 9 rounds. They walk through a door, and then there's a small, you ever been through like one of those old stores, and there's like a door you walk in, like in hallway that's like this big, and then there's like another door.
Yeah,
they're right in this like kill tunnel for me, you know what I mean? And this guy is right at that door. His buddy is right behind him going out the other door, but they're like this close. I just lock in. I was like, I got to do it now, because he has his firearm pointed at me. I was relieved to see him leaving, but when he turns towards me, he has his gun pointed at me. I was afraid he was just gonna just start shooting. So I just said punch out, and I fired 9 rounds right through that door. I hit him several times. They were all center mass shots. He failed. He was probably dead before he hit the ground. His other buddy behind him got hit with a round in his chest as well, and he falls down the steps. And he drops his gun, but he was able to flee. There was a getaway driver waiting for him outside. So he was able to flee. He had a gunshot wound. They later found he went to, now that I know, he went to Ingalls Hospital, which was about 15 minutes away, and he was treated there. And the U.S. Marshals picked him up 3 months later. They obviously matched the bullet out of his body to the bullets in his friend that was dead on the scene. Right after the shooting, my slide locked back. I felt that. It was really weird. Never saw my sights. I heard one loud gunshot because now I was inside. It was different. I heard one loud gunshot right after the shooting. The male bartender looked at me. Was like, "I didn't know you had a fucking gun." Shit you not. He was like, "I didn't know you had a fucking gun." Like, he was like upset, but he was relieved also. He was, because he was upset because of the concussion and that loud sound. He was just like, "Man, what the fuck just happened?"
Right.
But he was grateful as well. But he was like, "Man, I didn't know you had a fucking gun." I dropped the magazine. I just, dropped the magazine. I run out towards the back door because I knew there was two guys on the porch. I literally, after I fired that slide lock back, I dart right, went out there, said, "Call 911, call 911." I run back in. Buddy that was there, he ran out towards the front. I'm yelling at him like, "No, get back," because they may be out there still waiting on you, and they're about to shoot. We just fired at him, you know what I mean? This guy's dead right here. I run out, I reload, I take the 7-round magazine I had in my pocket. I had jacket of hollow points. I had 124 grain 6-hour V-Crown rounds in there. Nothing fancy. There's just some jacket of hollow points. I dropped the mag, insert the 7-rounder, tapped it, racked the slide. I ran out and I scanned. I don't see any cars. I see one fleeing, but I don't see anything else in my general area. So I'm scanning. I see the gun down there at the parking lot. I went and looked at the gun. I did not touch it. I ran back up towards where the other robber, the bad guy, was there. And I go to start checking his pulse. I'm talking to him like, "Hey, bro, come on, man. Stay with us, stay with us." His eyes are just, he's just like, there's no blinking, nothing. He was already gone. He's same situation. His pulse is like very, very little. I go to take the gun out of his hand, and when I went to take the firearm out of his hand, when I picked it up, I noted like the weight was really off. And I go to rack the slide back, and I just noticed immediately that it was a replica firearm. It wasn't even a real gun. They robbed the bar with replica guns.
Yeah, but looking at those things, man, I mean, that's not something that you could just sit there and look at and be like, "Oh, those are replicas."
Oh no, it was a Walther. It was made by Walther, the company, the firearm company. It was a Walther. What's the PPQ or the
P99?
Yes, it had everything on there. It said Walther on it. It had all the. It was an exact replica, like Glock owns one. Yeah, it was all black.
It was a company called Umarex.
Yeah,
It was a company called Umarex. They have the contract to make those. Everything is right. The markings, the import markings, everything. There is no way you would have known if it was broad daylight with a spotlight on them. You still would have thought that was real.
Yep, and it was dark as hell. And
I remember getting a text message from you like shortly after that happened, and I'm like, look at the text. I'm like, and I called you. I'm like, "Is this you?" And you're like, "Yep." I'm like, "Damn, man, another one." But yet again, grateful you're still here, brother.
And I appreciate it, dude. Man, it's after that, I had to definitely leave Chicago. It was just too much, man. Like, we live in a world where people are just fucking just terrible, man. We don't have. It's just people are just terrible, dude. It's like I don't have a lot of high hopes for the future because of what we're dealing with in our country here.
So a couple things on this shooting though I want to touch on is I get asked in my classes, what about carrying in bars? Now I know Minnesota laws and Chicago laws are different, obviously, but what is the law for Chicago while carrying in a bar?
51%. So total sales at the end of the year, because they're a bar and grill. They have to go off of the sales at the end of the year, if their sales is more food, if it's 51% food or greater, it's legal to carry a firearm in there. So for like an example, if you go inside of because when we hear bar, we just automatically assume, you know what I mean, more alcohol than a bar and grill. We even still assume more alcohol than food. If you carry inside of a Red Lobster, but that Red Lobster is fucking, I mean, they're cooking it on drinks, man. Like, they're making a lot of money on drinks, you know what I mean? Because they got some specials going on. If their sales are 51% or more alcohol, technically you breaking the law. Yeah. But I didn't give a damn. You know, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I try my best, you know what I mean? I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a responsible gun owner. But in this case, you know, and I was like, man, dude, I gotta be a responsible armed citizen, you know what I mean? Yeah. Versus a law-abiding citizen, because if anything happens, I know me, I'm gonna intervene. I'm gonna act on it. And we need people like that in this world. And I question myself, man, why multiple shootings, Mychael? Why you? Why one? Why does it have to be you? And the second one happened, I was like, man, why me again? Like, it's like I started looking at myself, and every time I can't even leave there without cops patting me on the back and good job and giving me stickers and drinks and all types of stuff. Like, just congratulating me. And millions of people now calling me a hero and all types of shit. And I'm like, man, like I start questioning myself, like, man, yeah, you did right, but like, is this something wrong? You know what I mean? Right. And my mom, thank God, my mom, she, you know, great woman. She was like, son, even when I got that phone call, I ain't worried not one bit. God made you for this. You, out of anybody in this world, you can never question what you are here for. You 100%. Can never question that you just can't, you know. And God puts you in He puts you, because He knows that this is what you do for a living. He knows that you're prepared and you're capable. He's going to put His angels in the right place at the right time. And unfortunately, you know, we got to kill sometimes, you know what I mean? We gotta kill, you know what I mean? And killing and murdering somebody is not the same thing. And God works through people. So you gotta, you know, I'm just doing God's work. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm just, you know, taking evil people off of this damn planet. And I'm gonna continue to do that to the day I take my last breath.
And that's what I tell people, man, is that evil has no boundaries in my class. That's what I tell everybody. It can show its face anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter. I mean, yes, you were in Chicago, so people can make the comments all they want. Oh, he's in Chicago. I don't give a fuck where you're at. It can be anywhere. Nope. It can be anywhere. So, you know, yet again, training came into play. You know, so I'm trying to think. What was different? What did you do? I mean, obviously you hit the spare mag this time around, but yet again, were you were still in that 10-round capacity? Not granted, you were carrying a shield, but you were still you were still limited to that 10-round capacity, right?
I was not there. So I could have had 30-round magazine. Oh, okay. It's no big deal. I was outside the city limits. So,
okay, gotcha.
I was fine there, but technically I was not supposed to be carrying a weapon because I was an Indiana resident. Illinois does not recognize anyone's concealed carry permit. So I was a victim to gun violence. But by the grace of God, I wasn't charged with a single crime, just due to the fact that the state's attorney and, you know, all DA and all that stuff, and, you know, sheriff's departments, and, you know, they just felt like they didn't have a strong enough argument to even charge me because technically the shooting happened on unincorporated land. The bar was there, but the land is unincorporated. I could have just been, if the owner said, hey, I like him, you want to fire in my backyard? Because he lives there too. But it is a restaurant. It is a business, but it's on unincorporated land. I could have went out in the back and fired at a target.
Right.
And even being an out-of-state resident, they can't technically charge me with anything. So they just felt like, you know, in this case, you know, the bar. I mean, they all heard the news. There was like 30 motorcycles there 5 hours later, and they were all in just supporting me. The owner was, you know, wanted, they saw the response from the community, and at this time they were like, look, we don't want to really deal with any backlash. This man, he saved, multiple innocent people. They just didn't feel like it was necessary, and they weren't going to charge me with murder.
No.
So they just were like, no, we're going to let this guy go. He did the right thing. It was all recorded. The state of Illinois, one of my cousins ended up going to CPD, and he went through the academy, and they actually show my film in the police academy.
Oh, no shit.
For the officers. It's crazy. He was like, that's my cousin. He was like, they actually showed the film of the shooting I was in the Illinois State Police Academy.
So I know we kind of broke down your first one a little bit, and now this one, Chris talked about when you called 911, what was said, how we broke that down. I want to talk about this one though. You had witnesses this time. How did that incorporate, and how did that play into like the post shooting and calling 911 and all those things? Now, granted, you didn't call 911 this time, but like, how did the witnesses play? Yeah, because I know we talk about witnesses in our classes and everything too. So,
yeah, it was huge, man. That's a really good question. It was huge. I didn't call 911. The bartender did, and everyone there. We all. They didn't put me in handcuffs, but obviously, myself and everyone inside the bar were detained. They put us in back of different squad cars. Law enforcement was Frankfort PD that pulled up first, and then second, followed shortly right behind, just seconds later, the Will County Sheriff's Department. Both departments did a really good job. The officers were really supportive. They didn't do anything to me. They weren't really roughing me up. They never even put me in handcuffs. They did detain me because I went in the back of their squad car, which is locked, and they transported all of us, which was like a 15-20 minute drive, to the Will County Sheriff's Department, their headquarters. And we all went into the investigation room. Before I got there, I did send out a text on my phone, and one of those texts were to my mother and my family, and then I told them, I sent over Mike Bauer's contact, and I said, call him immediately. He got the call from my mother, and he immediately got on the phone, and he got on the phone with Dave McDermott, he works directly with
Dave is an awesome dude. I just met him.
Oh he the bomb, man. Yeah, Dave McDermott. He has an office out of Homewood. It's called McDermott Law Group. Really good professional guys there. Dave is a really, I definitely consider him a friend. Really good dude. He does amazing work. He was well known even before he started working with USCCA and the neighborhood and stuff like that, and in the city. But he got on the phone. Mike called Dave. Dave shot over there. And I was already inside the investigation room. Frankfort PD came in and they said, "Hey, man, dude, great job, man. You fucking stacked those shots on his chest. You did a good job, dude. We saw the video footage. We do not want to press any charges on you." Fucking Will County Sheriff's Department was like, "Nope, we don't want to press any charges. We saw everything. We don't feel like, we have anything that we want to throw on you, per se." All the witnesses were there, and all of our stories matched up. They were like, this guy did a good job. All the witnesses are saying the same thing. He saved us, and at this moment, I was sitting in there. We were all there for about 5 hours, and it was 3 to 10, so a little bit more. We were all there for a little bit of time. We got out about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, about 10:30 in the morning. And before we got out, I was waiting on. They got out about 30 minutes before I did. I had to wait for the state's attorney. So you can be cleared by the arresting agencies, PD, Sheriff's Department, but obviously they had to wait on the big dogs. So I had to wait on the state and DA and all of them to let me go. So they came in, they were like, no, we don't see anything. We feel like, you did the right thing. So they ended up clearing me. Dave came in, actually shortly before they said that. He funny. He had on Louis Vuitton shoes and shit. I was in there asleep. They came in and brought me, I was like dozing off before they told this. I was waiting on the state. They came in. I mean, cool as hell, man. I felt like a fucking snitch, because like they brought me a bed and pillows and fucking full
Nice.
meal, like everything, like extra large fry and all types of shit. I swear I felt like a snitch that day. I was in that boy chilling, and all I know is I hear a knock and the investigators came in and Dave came in. They were like, "Your attorney's here." Dave came in. Dave's like, because I met him at SHOT Show, and Mike introduced me to him, and I had his card, and I was like, man, I pray I never. Mike told him my story, and he saw me on the magazine. Dude, I pray I never need you, but it's happy to know you, man. But I said I never want to call your phone, and he was like, yeah, man, I hope not neither. Really good guy. He came in and he was like, goddamn. He was like, dude. He was like, man. He says, dude, I am not hanging out with you ever again. He says the only way I'm hanging out with you is via Zoom. He says that's the only way I'm hanging out with you is via Zoom. And that was it. That was it.
Hopefully I didn't jinx myself now, because I just met him and got his number too. I said the same damn thing. Like, hopefully I never need this. Fuck.
Yeah.
Famous last words right there.
Right. No.
So I want to just kind of go back to something you said a minute ago about carrying in the bar if they serve over 51%.
Yeah, 51%. The sales at the end of the year. Yeah, if it's 51%.
How the hell is the average person supposed to know what their sales are? Mm-hmm. This just goes to show how stupid some of these laws are. Hey, I'm coming to your bar to carry a gun. What's your average sales? You know what I'm saying? That's just
at the end of the year. Like, yeah,
that's the dumbest freaking thing in the world.
Understand, and I got told this by Anthony Calandro, who's the guy who actually allowed me to host events at Gun for Hire range, and he has his own Gun for Hire radio. And he said this line about legislators: once you understand they hate you, then it all starts to make sense. They don't give a shit about you. How in the hell, what store do you know what percentage of their sales are what? That's not even knowledge you would have as their best customer. You wouldn't know that. And truthfully, the owner doesn't know that until the end of the year.
Right.
And it's not
like that particular year we're talking about, right? I mean, we're talking about the year you're there. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's not like they're all going at the end of the year on their website going, hey, we just made 52% of our sales in alcohol. I mean, it's just stupid. Absolutely stupid. But no, you're right. I mean, you're right. Once you realize they hate you, yeah. I mean, and it
starts to make sense. Yeah.
If you really look at it, they're not running around calling it gun safety or anything like that. They're calling it gun control. They're telling you what they want. They want control. But real quick, the other thing I wanted to bring up on the second one there is you said you felt your slide lock back.
I did. It was crazy. I don't know if it was because it was a compact firearm. And the VP9 is technically a compact firearm. That's a MP Shield would be a subcompact firearm. Right.
I'll tell you what changed there was your time behind the gun. From that first shooting to that second shooting, you increased the time you had behind your gun, and you knew how that gun operated. And I talk about that in my 201 classes when we start talking about malfunctions and reloads, and it's understanding the purpose of training and practicing, because you start to understand how your gun works. You start to understand the feel of that gun. That is why you felt that like you did. It was the amount of time. It was the amount of time you had behind that gun. You understood how that gun worked.
Yep.
Yeah, and on video, man, like, it was very, like, I still remember. It was, like, very, very, I felt it. Like, in the video, I mean, I extended out. It was, like, perfect. It was a perfect punch out. I mean, and the gun I didn't even feel like it moved. It was, like, almost looked like no recoil. You just saw the gun, you saw the fire on the end after the rounds were leaving the muzzle. And you saw rapid fire, and then when the slide locks back, you can even see it on the video. I snatched the gun right back into my chest, like as if I'm in a training class. Like, it was like boom, 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 and then I turn right, and dart back out. I look like I'm running out the door. and I go grab the guys out in the back and then run back in. But I felt it, man. Like it was like very like. As soon as that slide locked back, I snatched that motherfucker back, man. Like right back to my chest. Just in case I needed to, put it in my workspace and reload it. But it was
back to
right
work.
back.
Yep.
Yeah, it was right back.
And I agree with Chris on that because I know for a fact after your first shooting, you went balls deep in the training. Like you were just hitting it hard.
Yeah.
So Chris is 100%. Yeah. So Chris is 100% right on that, and we all know that because we've all shoot a lot, and this is why I tell people it's like in the middle of the shits of it is not the time to figure out, how to manipulate your firearm, how to do a reload, how to do a malfunction clearing, how to even draw from the fucking holster. This is why you have to train. In this one, the second one, you said you waited for, and that comes down to that mindset too. It's you waited for the opportunity. You knew what you were working with. You played it on your head.
Yeah.
It comes down to that mindset as well.
Well, even having the mindset of like you talked about where you dropped your keys to try to get their attention off of you. The little things like that. If you don't train and you don't understand and you don't have that mindset, you're not going to think about stuff like that because you're going to be focused just looking at their gun and freaked out that you're going to possibly get shot. But that's again, training and that mindset of, there's certain ways to do things. I've even watched, one, I can't remember his name. He's a big knife guy. And they were talking to him about, what do you do when you've got somebody up on you? Trying to give you your wallet. He's like reaching for his wallet, hands him the wallet, and the dude's focused on his wallet. And I mean, just out of nowhere, he pulls a knife out. It's of course, training.
Oh,
knife.
you mean
and
Craig Douglas?
Is that who that is? I cannot remember his name, man.
Short dude?
Yeah, short guy.
Yeah.
Shiv works.
Yeah.
Craig Douglas.
Shiv
works. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and it was just crazy to see just that little distraction there of what you're able to get accomplished when you're able to have that mindset and think and throw in that distraction.
100%.
So, I got one statement to make because people don't get it. And what we're all talking about is the same thing. It's train with your firearm until you develop unconscious competence with your gun. You were not worried about how to use that gun. You weren't worried about the sights. You weren't worried about the trigger. You knew you had your draw. So you were able to think of other things like, okay, I don't want to shoot through them here because I'll put other people at higher risk. I can reduce that risk by waiting. You were still using your brain to try to de-escalate.
Yeah.
Until they pulled a Debo moment on you.
Right. Yeah.
You told me to shut the fuck up. I shut the fuck up, but I'll talk again as soon as they leave.
Yeah.
So you did that, and you put rounds on target for a reason. The woman was panicking. You knew the history about Lane Bryant that happened there, and you know you don't go to a secondary place, and you don't allow yourself to be set up to be executed. All of your stuff was well thought out beforehand because you already took care of the hard part. You knew how to work the gun. So you could think about everything else.
100.
And I think people don't get that. Now, my question is this, because people often ask it in a self-defense situation. In each incident, did the police take your firearm and how long did it get back?
They took my gun in both situations. They have 3 guns because they took the gun I used. They took the gun I had on me in the first situation because I had to get out my secondary, and then they took my firearm that I had with me, that the M&P Shield. So all 3 guns were taken. I ain't getting none of them back. The M&P Shield. In the last shooting, I came back there, and as I was walking back, one of the Will County Sheriff's Department deputies he was like, "Man, hey, good shooting, dude. Are you like an instructor or police or something?" I was like, "No, I was an instructor." I said I wasn't police, so I was an instructor. He was like, "Man, you did a great job." He was like, but you ain't getting your gun back, right?" I was like, "Oh yeah," and I just walked off. So you can get your gun back. You tell Dave that he would probably be like, yeah, okay. If I want to get it back bad enough, I can.
Right.
I can. It's not that big of a deal.
I think that's a good point to bring up, Tony. And a lot of people don't understand that is, like you're probably not going to get it back. I know here in the state of South Carolina, you can file a petition to get it back, but from what I've looked at in some of these cases, it's the ones that have gotten it back have really, really, really had to go through a huge rigmarole to get it back. And when they got it back, it wasn't like they're going to go and clean it for you before they give it back to you. You know, one thing I read, the dude was talking about how it had all the markings on it and stuff from where they were running tests and everything. And he's like, you can tell that it's going through inspections, it's going through testing. So because the one guy was like, he's like, I got it. And then he's like, I just cleaned it up and got rid of it. He's like, I didn't want to keep it. Plus the other thing is, if it's a situation where you've gotten blood on it, blood can heavily oxidize a firearm. And again, they're not going to clean it. That's evidence. They're going to leave it just the way that it is. So if it sits there for, weeks, even months, that's going to oxidize. And, then it's kind of like, what do I really want that gun back? And do I want to invest the money into making it, what it was when it went into that evidence locker?
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So in both situations, I can't say it wasn't blood on there, but I do know when you're involved, at least in the state of Illinois, when you're involved in a homicide shooting, they test your gun. They put this shit. It's like, it kind of looks like a blue powder. And it's like they submerge it in the fucking gun to, I guess, check for fingerprints and stuff like that, and all types of weird shit. But I could have got the guns back, but I just wasn't all the guns were really gifts to me. I didn't pay for neither one of them, so I was like, you know what, fuck it. It is what it is. It's just no big deal.
You're like,
Dave could have got it back for me, but I didn't really care.
You're like, I got an FFL. I'll get a new one tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't really care. Yeah, I could have just got me another one.
So, if for the ones that don't understand what we're saying, don't go buy a freaking $5,000 staccato and carry that as your everyday carry.
No.
Now, if you've got $5,000 to go and replace that thing, if you happen to use it in a self-defense situation, do your thing.
Right.
But,
understand. And I have to say this, because it's a little frustrating. Oh, how much is your life worth? The people that say that. Listen, you clowns. A stock M&P, a stock Glock, a stock CZ, all these companies are actually issued as is in holsters of law enforcement, military, special forces. All those organizations have these guns stock. Very little is done to it. They don't have a $5,000 MUSOC pistol in the Marine Corps Special Operations Command. They don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't they? Because they practice enough to be freaking surgeons with the stock Glock. You are not out shooting your stock Glock. So you don't need the hair trigger. You don't need all this stuff. You send out and get your guns Gucci. I totally understand getting a slightly better trigger. I understand getting better iron sights. But after that, and maybe some stippling if you have a choice and if you have something. But you got to get to the point of diminishing returns of a firearm that you will probably not get back. In Jersey, you can forget it. You're not getting your gun back.
Yeah.
100%. You don't need, I would say now, I will probably never carry, and I own staccatos. I have a few really high end guns, but I don't need to. I would never carry a gun like that.
No,
I would never. Honestly, I don't know if it's maybe a thing that I just dream about or some PTSD. I don't want even because in both shootings, I didn't have a red dot on either gun, and I was able to fuck these guys up. You know what I mean? I don't think I don't feel like I want my carry gun. I'll show you. Literally right on my seat over there. I found me another HK VP9, which is the exact same gun I had in my first shooting, and this is in a Works holster. Nothing fancy. I got this for like $70. It's a Works holster. Got a spare magazine and a handheld light. I don't need anything. There's no red dot on here. I don't have no. It's the same exact iron sights. These are the upgraded sights from VP9. I don't look. I got some little fucking mud over there or something. I got some dirt or something. It's just you don't need a crazy. You don't need anything really really fancy. What do you got, Chris? What's that? Oh, it's a Hellcat Pro.
Is that black in him?
Yeah, Hellcat. I mean, nothing fancy, man. You don't need a Glock. I mean, there you go. You got a Glock with what kind of, is that a red dot on there?
Oh no, bro. These are those sites I was telling you about. They call Triclops. They're 3 dot.
Oh, okay.
They're crazy.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
So that's what
Glock
I got.
19.
Yeah.
Yep.
Clayton, what are you carrying?
Glock 19.
Glock 19. Just you don't need anything crazy fucking fancy. Just buy a quality gun. I'm not saying go get a damn Sky pistol. Even y'all, I mean, some people may feel I just like buy a quality firearm that is reliable. Glocks are used overseas. They're used by militaries. High Point.
Jesus,
that big 40. Okay, with the money sign on there. Buy your
Of course.
quality gun. Jesus Christ! Buy you buy a quality firearm that's reliable. Buy quality ammunition. Ammunition also is important.
Right.
Buy quality ammunition, and I like to have. I normally carry the Surefire X300 light on the bottom of my gun. I actually really like it, but I ran into a lot of situations where because I have the light on my gun, mentally I just be like, I don't need to have a handheld light, and I use this more than anything. This small Surefire X Pro light, I use this more than anything. When I'm walking around, I got the dog with me. Even if I feel something sketched out, I'll hit that light, you know what I mean, and just have it by my feet, and you just see people kind of like spread out. They're like, they don't know what the fuck's going on. They just get like weirded out. You know what I mean? Like the light is huge, and if I have the light on my gun, I gotta take my gun out. Now police can be called like, hey, the guy got a gun. It's just I like
your weapon mounted light. Your weapons mounted light is used when you got to use your weapon. That is not an auxiliary flashlight. So
exactly.
I carry stream lights. So I carry
I love those
the
too.
stream light. I got the stream light wedge.
Okay.
And I got the HX1. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. Both
because
of those.
I use these every day at work, but I also keep them on me as in regular because again, light. When people who are up to no good, you hit them with the light, they know you see them, and because you shine the light on them, other people can see them. And they're like, hey, what's that over there? And they also know pretty much who carries lights in real life? Cops. It's like, cops always got lights on them, dude. I don't want to mess with that guy. He's probably an off-duty cop.
Right.
Yeah, something. Yeah, they just automatically assume. Yeah, man, that's extremely important. So that's extremely important.
I mean, I know we've kind of dissected both your shootings here, but I know like we all talk, and I want to kind of get to where I'm going here in a second here. I know all of us have mutual friends, Mike Sedini, and like, how was the aftermath? Because I know people are going to be sitting here wondering, like, aftermath of a self-defense shooting, what happened with you, your mental state, your mental health, all that stuff. And I know Mike Sedini, Walk Talk America, obviously is part of that. So kind of walk us through that aftermath.
Well, after the first one, 2019, USCCA actually has that, like when you contact like their critical response team, they got like people who are like trained professionals dealing with anyone who's like with PTSD or involved in shooting. They that part really helped because Mike and them sent me some contacts, and I was able to talk with them, and I did some personal, like outside with my church therapy for me and my son. And I continue to use it even still to this day because I still have moments and flashbacks and things like that. But I think initially, especially after the first shooting, I kind of had to take a break from just like the world, and because after the news got a hold of it, they blasted on their concealed carry holder fatally shoots gunman in the head. I got a lot of news coming to my house and my mom's house, and it was just a lot of shit, and I just needed to take kind of a break. So after that, and which I encourage anyone who's involved in a situation anywhere even close to mine or even worse, get some mental health treatment. Speak to some therapists, you know what I mean? Walk Talk America is a really good resource for anyone that's battling with mental health. And even if you're not in a shooting, man, it's just good. Men and women, everybody, they need, and I'm talking to men mostly, we need to check on our mental health. Like, just not in a shooting, just this needs to be something that we do just regularly. You know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more with that. Even like, three of you know that, the shit that I deal with daily with, special needs son, and 3 years ago with my cancer, like it's, that's why I tell people in my classes, I talk about the shooting afterwards, hey, get some help afterwards, after aftermath. But then I make it personal. I bring in, my situations. People think like, oh shit, this is legit, and I 100% agree. We have to do better. It's okay not to be okay, and I ask for help.
100%. 100%.
So,
no, I think this has been a really great episode, man. I appreciate you
definitely
coming on and talking about this. But again, this is why we stress training. This
right here,
this point proven right here why training is very important. What you got, Tony?
I just got another question. Now, you might have already answered it because the two incidents already happened. Did you take away separate lessons from the second one that made you change up? Because I see now you didn't have the shield, you got a full size, or at least a compact handgun now with more rounds on tap. Did that change up because of the second incident, or you just switch out between something like that because of what you were wearing?
No, that was just because of what I was wearing. In the second shooting, I did have, I had the M&P shield and a spare magazine. So my setup was the same, and I had a flashlight as well. So it was really similar. I just, because I was going in the bar, I was carrying a tier 1 holster, which is identical to this one. I was carrying a tier 1 holster with a full size, like actually, I think it was maybe an XL. It was huge. It was a full size M&P Performance Center. I mean, like a 6-inch barrel and a Surefire light on the bottom, in-house, and 509T red dot on the top. So I had a lot going on, spare magazine. So it was only because of where I was going into. I don't think. I felt really good after this during the second shooting. I went back and I can definitely see where like I improved. Like I fired 11 rounds, that second shooting, and I only hit the guy twice.
The first
I was
shooting.
successful. The first shooting, excuse me, the first shooting, and only hit the guy twice. I was successful by the grace of God, but the second shooting, I fired 9 rounds and maybe missed one. I put 8 in this guy, 1 in the other guy, and 1, just went out into the brush. So the percentage, was I felt really, really good and confident. I think the only thing I would probably change in the second situation would be, now since I'm getting older, it's just making better choices. Like, Mike, you went to a much better place than Chicago, but this just goes to show, like what Clayton was saying, it can happen anywhere. You went to a very nice area that was really rural, and it still happened. You could have stayed in Chicago, and it probably would still happen there. You can't really run from it. You know what I mean? It just, just be prepared. I want to say change my environment, but the only thing I did was train more And I also went to Walth again after that, and I took their light. They do a class,
The
low light class, utilizing my flashlight more. You know what I mean? So I upgraded my flashlight, which was the only thing I would probably say I changed.
I got
Oh,
this from Waft. I got this at Waft.
Nice.
is that what is that one?
Is the stream light that they had there that they gave us
Oh, okay,
as part
yeah,
of the
yeah.
class?
Oh yeah. Yep, I got one of those. I actually bought their. They got a. He came out with
The Waft
his
version.
own light, a Waff light. Yeah, I got one of those
Yep.
too. It's somewhere around here. I love that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
Yeah, he's a
man,
good
that's
dude.
he is, man. Feels dope.
yeah, man.
Real quick with the flashlights, you don't have to have a flashlight with like 9,000 lumens.
No, you don't.
No,
A decent
that's a good point.
flashlight for everyday carry is really about all you need. Like I carried that little Streamlight pen flashlight for the
And
longest
that thing's
time.
that thing's like $60. Like
Yeah.
that light.
Yep.
I have one of those screen lights too. I got two of them, and they're great. Those are great. If that's what you got, I gave one to my wife, and I trust that thing in my life. I carried that thing for quite a bit of time. You don't really need no 3,000 or no. You don't need a really expensive light. You know, any of that stuff. You can the screen light. You know, that's look perfectly fine. What is that?
It's just a small
that? That's a
version
pen
of
light.
that. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
the pen
small
light.
version.
Okay.
Yeah, because the one that carries the longer
that is
version.
completely fine. That's a good comparison there, Carmack. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's
just
completely fine. How many lumens is that? Like
This one I think is 500.
500. I mean, that's
Perfect.
like
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's damn good. Do you know the Candela, the spread on it?
Nah, I'm not
You
sure
don't know?
about the Candela on it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
those
remember it off the top of my head. It's not a lot.
That thing's more than enough, man. Even a 200-300 lumen light,
Plenty.
you know, you're more than you're plenty. That's plenty. That's plenty.
So-
that's plenty.
So
Go ahead, Tony.
yeah, so one of the things about flashlights, because flashlights you can nerd out about a lot, but really you can have a price point of about $50, $60. I don't deal with Surefire because Surefire gives money to anti-gun politicians, so I don't fuck with them. But I go with Streamlight. Streamlight is right here,
Yeah.
NPA, right across the border. They've given me a lot of flashlights. They donated to the diversity shoots, so we've raffled those off. So that's why I deal with them. But about $50 to $60 gives you a solid flashlight.
Sure.
It can give you a bunch of colors. It don't have to be big. This is a little big. It's the size of a thick marker, maybe. But
Yeah. The smaller the
if
better,
you
too.
Yeah.
yeah, if you work in yeah, that's what Chris keeps saying. But if you work in an environment,
That's what I'm talking
Not the
about.
size of the. It's not the size of the motion. It's the fuck it. I can't
It's
even.
not
Yeah,
the size of the light, it's
so-
the motion.
so having a smaller one goes with your clothes depends on what you wear at work. But you can have a decent lumen flashlight with some good candela because candela is important to get through light photonic barriers, shine from one lit area into across a lit area into another area, so you can see like from across a hallway in a lit hallway into a dark room. That's why you have to have candela to cut through that thing, but you don't have to spend 300 and something dollars on a mod
That's
light.
true.
That's ridiculous. All right,
That's
so
true.
you get that. Take a class instead of spending $300 on a mod light. Spend $60 on a good light, and then take a low light class with somebody with the rest of that damn money, and you'll get to learn how to run your light, and that's very important. You can get yourself a
100%.
good light. Get yourself a good light. Get yourself a small knife. And I'm not saying you're going to have to stab somebody or something silly like this, but it's still a tool, and it can be a defensive tool in an area where you didn't bring your gun because you were busy being a law-abiding citizen instead of a responsibly armed citizen. So,
Yeah.
and again, you don't have to spend a crap load of money on getting a Gucci gun.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Another, I'll tell you another company that's really good as far as flashlights that I've used one of theirs here recently and picked it up is Nightcore.
Say it again.
Nightcore.
Nightcore.
Like
Okay.
Nitecore.
Yep, heard of them.
Okay.
I'm looking at them.
Nightcore, Nightstick, Phoenix. All good flashlights.
Yeah.
Notice no
Look,
one said
even if it-
light. No one said that.
Even
Yeah.
even if it's a mag light from your local hardware store, those mag lights, they've got small versions of those, and they're really
That's true.
good too.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're gonna get a light, get a Coast light from the hardware store. I think either Home Depot or Lowe's carries Coast. Just like East Coast, West Coast, it's called Coast. I actually used that in my very first low light rifle carbine class, and I clamped it onto the side of my SKS, and I ran the class with a friggin' hardware store flashlight,
Nice.
and
Damn.
it
On the
ran, baby.
SKS is crazy.
That's crazy.
Hey, I lived in Jersey. I had a magazine restriction anyway. So I
Right.
mean, outside after the first 10 rounds, the fight's on. Or I mean, for a civilian, after 10 rounds, the fight's probably over anyway.
Man, that's a really good point. I was gonna say that. I never needed. I'm like, we all have those stories. I've been run out of ammunition, and like now I'm like, I gotta have quality ammunition, and I definitely want enough. I never needed more than 10 rounds. In both situations, I never needed more than 10 rounds. Realistically, like 10,
But
11. I never needed more than that. I was able to accomplish this. I was able to successfully stop threats in both scenarios with 10+1.
Yeah.
so my whole thing
that's
about
just the
that
frame.
is that's good, but I still don't want the legislators limiting me to 10
You're
rounds.
100% correct. You're 100% correct.
100%.
I want everyone to have obviously more. I'm so pro gun. I wish we all can own tanks and everything, which we can, but I just wish we all could, have whatever we want.
Yep.
I'm super pro 2A, but I do, just speaking to the level of like training I had at that time, and even to anyone that's watching the podcast, that like, man, look, training is the most important thing. It ain't the type of gun. It ain't having a 30-round stick mag. It ain't about having a drum. Not all that shit. You can, any one of these other three guys talking to me today, y'all can all accomplish whatever y'all need if y'all had 10+1. And y'all know that.
Yeah.
Just being honest. You guys, if there's a threat coming to your house with quality ammunition, you guys can get it done.
Yeah.
Because y'all have the training.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Yep,
Damn.
neutered as 10-round magazine, baby.
That sucks.
I remember when I gave Tony with my fucking AR trailer, and he got all fucking happy in his pants because it was a 30-round mag.
I didn't know what to do with all that damn ammo at one time.
My 15-round mag.
15 round.
No, man.
I commie state.
I think this has been a phenomenal.
Yeah, these are 15.
Yeah. So I got 15. Man, that's been a great conversation. I do want.
Oh, yeah.
I just think if you can. I mean, we obviously talk training. This is Darkman's here. The mummy's here. Sorry,
Oh, jeez.
my daughter's getting dropped off from her boyfriend who blew himself up with a flamethrower, basically. But anyways, yeah, he's got burns up his arm and his face, and so I've been making fun of him, calling him a mummy. Anyways,
Damn.
but the thing is, we've been talking this training and all this training, and it's so important. But what if you want to end this out, Waller, with talking about if you could say any advice for people getting into the firearms or people with the permit to carry in wanting or interested in this walking this walk, what would it be?
Anyone new that just got a permit to carry.
Or to the people that think that their permit to carry is good enough.
I just got to stick with the tried and true. Get training. Just get training. Get out there and train. Before you even get the gun, just get out there and get some training. Find a vetted instructor and take some training classes.
Yeah.
Just a few or one. Just get out there and get some training. First, also too, I'll throw another little twister in there. Walk Talk America. First, make sure your mental's good. You know what I mean? Make sure you're in the mental state to even have a firearm. And you know what I mean? And we're all super pro 2A people. I want everybody to have machine guns and everything. But we do live in a really, really tough and dark and bad time. And I want everybody to be in the right head space and mental space before they even have the weapon. So make sure you get yourself checked out. Walk Talk America is completely anonymous. Nobody's putting you in any type of crazy, list or anything like that. Then get some training.
Absolutely, man. I agree.
Then get the fire.
I agree.
Yep. 100%. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being on the
Thanks,
show, being
guys.
open with us.
Yeah.
Because, we were just saying, there's nothing overly complicated about this. We try to tell people it's a lot of things that you can do. You just have to do them every time with consistency, and that includes training. That includes dry firing. I'd like to include going to and listen to the podcast like we had self-defense gun stories. The reason being, Mike had two different situations. If you can listen to his story and go, okay, what would I do in that situation? You've done a mental rep. You've already thought. So now you see that you're ahead of the curve. You're not shocked by this. Usually in violent crime, it's your first time being a victim of violent crime. When you pay attention to stories like Mike's and others on active self-protection, on the other things, you're getting a mental rep. Yeah. So when you see it, you're going to pick up on what's happening faster than you would have without it. Because most people have a scenario running through their head. I don't know whether it's John Wick or shooting a crackhead climbing in the window. But there's a bunch of human interactions that constitute self-defense. And the more you have in your Rolodex, the quicker you can react to them.
Sure, 100%.
So I'm going to leave with this. I'm going to close with this, actually, is if you guys are looking for training, reach out to any one of us. We all do it. I travel. Chris will travel. I'm sure, Mike will come up to you as well. Get yourself some training, people. If you are interested in hosting one of us, reach out. We'll figure out a way, and we'll talk about it. As long as we have a safe place to shoot, we'll do it up. So I'm just leaving it at that. Get training, find yourself an instructor, and let's get to work, and let's do this.
100%.
By the way, listen to you, trainer. All right.
Yes.
Don't go in there thinking you know and everything. Thursday night, we had a diversity shoot, and we had the women in our class, and they decided they wanted to compete. We have a competition every event almost. And the ladies decided they wanted to compete using the Bull Armory TAC 2, I think, 1911, double stack.
Yep.
Excuse me. Yeah, double stack 1911. And they were going to shoot one round each at 25 yards on the target. High score wins. These were women. Some had shot before. Some never picked up a gun before that night. None of them missed the regulation size target at 25 yards. One shot. Two ladies hit paper, but it didn't hit a score ring. And three of them hit sevens and one hit a 9. That were women that had shot a gun, and they just picked up that 1911 that day. So when you go to a class, keep your mind open, do what the instructors say, and you'll be successful, because we're trying to teach you to save your life. We look at it that way. We're teaching you fighting skills. Fighting skills. We want you to be successful. We want you to protect you and yours. Don't come into our class telling us a better way to do it. Please.
Yes, please leave. That's one of the requirements in my class. Leave your ego. Please leave your ego at home. I honestly don't see it a lot with the women, but definitely with the men. Yeah, leave your ego at home, man.
Mm-hmm. Come with an open mind.
And you guys know me. I don't go around screaming, "Oh, I shot these guys." No. I don't. But in my men's class, honestly, because I've had some bad experiences, and sometimes the only way you can kind of really get that guy to kind of put him in his place is you got to put him in his place. So I'm like, dude, listen, I did this. I'm speaking from experience. I hate to have to do those to those guys because I really don't even like to do that. I'm just kind of chill. I just don't really like that. I don't want to seem like an arrogant asshole or anything like that. But these guys will come in here and speak about, I did this or I know how to do this. And I'm like, dude, look, no, just cut it, man. Just leave. Just you came here to learn. Just be open-minded. Always be a student. I trained after my shooting. I trained, I think, the only person I didn't train with was Tony, but I trained with all you guys. So, I was a student in Chris's class. I was a student in multiple of Chris's classes. I was a student.
Yep.
So you gotta like again. I mean, he has more experience than even I do, being in the military and stuff. But you just shut up and listen, man. Learn something. You never know. You never know what you may learn.
Nope, for sure.
Especially when you invest in your money. That's fucking stupid. I ain't spending $500 or $100 or $300 or $1,000 to take no class and try to tell the instructor what to do. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can't hear you, Chris.
Talk louder with the mute button on, bro.
There you go.
Nope. Nope.
Hold on.
Okay.
This is Chris. This is Chris, and I'm ending the show. Thank you. I'd like to tell everybody I like man ass. I'm really a big fan of man ass. I'd like to sometimes even get my hands up in it. So it was a great show. Thank you, Michael, for coming on. I forgot what episode it is, but I'm not that smart anyway. All right. See y'all next time. Signing out.
Right,
Hey, Clayton, you got anything to say?
Appreciate you guys.
No, man, we good. Waller, man, appreciate you, brother. And
Appreciate you guys.
talk
Man.
to you guys
Always,
later.
dude. 100%. Y'all be safe.
All right.
That's it.
Remember, Chris Lyles loves man ass.